Hey, good evening. Welcome to the first episode of Quiz Your Biz post relaunch. So I'm a minute early, just going to give people a chance to log on and then we'll get started. So if you're watching the replay, type replay so we know that you're there, and then you could probably skip forward a couple minutes while I'm just waiting and give people a chance to come on. Then I'll introduce it. Then we'll get Mr. Brad Burton himself on, and we'll get started. So I'm just gonna quietly sip my tea. Give you guys a minute. Hey Reese, hey Chris, how you doing, guys? This is going to be an interactive live stream, so please do post your questions and we'll go through them all at the very end. Hey Brad, how are you doing? I know it's been a particularly busy day for you today. I've seen that you've been pretty hectic. So we're really excited about this evening. So if you've just logged on, I'm just sort of saying, I'm just going to give it a couple minutes, give people a chance to come on. Brad is here, which is awesome. Hey Leah, how are you doing? We're really excited about this today. And this is my first Quiz Your Biz, my first one as the interviewer. I've done it as an interviewee. Alicio. It is now. Or what time is it? What time is it here? I don't know what you mean. It is now, the interview, which is 7 p.m, if that's what you mean. I'm not entirely sure. Okay. I think we're probably good to go. It's a lot of pressure for me. I've not done the live stream, the Quiz Your Biz from this side of it before, so this will be fun. So welcome. This is Quiz Your Biz, the relaunch. So Quiz Your Biz has been running since May 2018, but we've made some massive changes. It was run by Dan Tilson on his own as the interviewer, but now he is, I need to hit record, bear with me. Speak of the devil, he's just walked in. I literally just officially starting, I was introducing it.
Great.
Let's start that again. Okay, yeah. So welcome. So yeah, Dan Tilson has been running this show since May. We've just massively relaunched it with 2 new interviewers. I always confuse interviewer and interviewee. So that's myself and that is Reese also. So Quiz Your Biz is our weekly or bi-weekly show now, where we're going to be quizzing people on their businesses, finding out a little bit more about them, and then for you guys, the audience, finding out tips and advice from what they do. So I'm just going to try and get Brad on now. Hey Pippa, how are you? Right, if I add Brad and add, excellent. About Brad, I'm going to let him introduce himself and what he does. We're really excited to have him on today. This is the awkward moment where we're waiting for someone to come on, and now I have to think of things to say. So please do remember, that's working. Hey Brad.
How you doing, kiddo?
How you doing, dude?
So it just told me to rotate my phone. I've never done this before. You know, that's a bit like you. First time you've ever done it as well. So I'll go easy. Let me turn it around this way. Is that better, or are we upside down? That's no good, is it? I will turn it around. All right. So yes, I'm good. I'm actually, where am I looking? I'm looking down here. All right, there we go. This is so odd. There we go. Let me get it there. Good. Yes, I am good. I'm good, kiddo. Tell me about Quiz Your Biz then. Go for it.
Okay. Yeah, so as I just sort of briefly mentioned, it's our bi-weekly show, so we're going to be doing 2 per week, where we get to interview business owners such as yourself, find out a little bit more about you, a little bit more about your audience, and find out tips that you can give the audience based on what you do and what your area of expertise is. So if we could start with an introduction. So for those of the audience who don't know who you are, I mean, I don't know who these people are, who possibly not know who Brad Burton is, but could you let us all know who you are?
So in essence, pretty most well known for 4 Networking. I was the founder of 4 Networking. I started that back in 2006. And I've also written 4 books, Get Off Your Ass, 2, Life Business Just Got Easier, and now what? I'm a motivational speaker. I get booked by the likes of Bentley, Jay-Z, Costa, and I've just been booked, I can't mention no names, but I've just been booked to head up a national advertising campaign, and that starts filming in October, so I'm not as thick as I look.
That is awesome. That is really awesome. So you've got your fingers in lots of pies, and I know you've achieved a hell of a lot during your career. So why did you start? What got you into the world of business and entrepreneurship?
So I realised I was working for a company in 2004, and I remember what I used to do was called bleating to veg. I'd stay around after work, because this was like before Wi-Fi, and I'd have my laptop connected to the Ethernet. And I was living in Somerset, but I had digs over in London, and I was doing my job there. And I used to stay behind because I had nothing to go back to. I'd go back to some moody dig shared house. So I stayed using the internet between probably after work 5 and 8, 9 o'clock. And I remember finishing at 9 o'clock, closing the office up, and driving to my digs. And I remember going past a guy going in a house with electric gates, either the BMW or Mercedes, back in 2004. And I went, I could work 80 or 100-hour weeks at this company and still never be able to afford the frigging gates. And it was like, fuck. And I was 30 years old at the time. And the kind of penny drops, I went, this is nuts, because I'd be driving past people with posh cars, whatever, going, it's okay for them. And not actually realising the sort of route. And anyway, so bottom line is I told my employer to shove his job up his arse, walked out of a job, £25,000 in debt, no income, like zero, I'd fuck all. And started my business off. And my first business was called 4 Consultancy. Not a lot of people know this, but 4 Consultancy. It was sales, new media, and creative design. So effectively, I was a reseller, but I used to project manage everything. And I did that for 18 months. And then I went to this stuff called networking. And I went to these networking events, and the best way to describe it was political terms. You had the loony left, where nothing quite happened. It was all like a school disco. Nobody wants to speak, and you're very formal. And what do you do, young lady? That's very interesting. Here, take my card. And any referrals, I'll give you 10%. Fuck off. So you had the loony left, then you had the hard right. Where's your leads? Where's your referrals? You have to attend. You've got to bring visitors. I'm thinking, where was the mainstream of networking? Where's the mainstream? And I looked on Google and everything. And back in the day, it was the Academy, FSB, BNI, Chamber of Commerce. And I looked online and thinking, none of these appeal to me. So is it, I'm a small business owner. The first year was 28 grand turnover. So I'm a small business owner. I'm thinking, there's no network that I fit in. And that was where Full Networking was born. And we fast forward now, 13 years, is it? I can't, 13 years, I think it is. And it's 13 years in February. And it's going from strength to strength. I stepped away, actually, from Full Networking 2 years ago. I'm still the founder. I'm still majority shareholder, but I'm just not involved in the day-to-day. But I've sort of created a career, Rachel, which is being unapologetically me. And actually, if people don't like me for being me, then fuck off in the nicest possible way. Honestly, it's my life. It's my life. If you don't like me, you don't like my businesses, you don't like how I do things, not a problem. There's a big wide world out there of stuff you do like. And I think it's, I think a lot of the stuff that I've done was pretty progressive, like the networking, doing a complete different type of networking, my books, my approach to business, the way that I look. I know I've got a face like a potato. Fact, I get it, right? No, but I'm not an archetypal business-looking person. Let's be clear, I do not look like your archetypal entrepreneur. You look at the twats on Apprentice. There's all like fucking matching shirts and ties and everything. And actually, that's not what I'm about. And it's funny because I got approached to go onto Big Brother, right? Like,
wow.
They approached me twice now to go on it, and I was ready to go. My wife said, "Are you fucking mad? You behind closed doors with the cameras on, get out of it." So, but I think what I've done is I've carved out a niche. I've carved out a niche that is perfect for my life, for my world, and what I want to achieve. I'm not Mr. Multi-millionaire. I've got a frigging jet and I've got a yacht. I'm not interested. That's not what I'm about. But what I am is Mr. Happy. I am genuinely Roger Hargreaves, Mr. Happy. I'm the happiest person that like genuinely. Why? Because I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm comfortable in what I've created. And actually, I've achieved every one of my goals. Like, I don't know anyone that genuinely, I do not know anyone that has achieved all the goals. Because I tell you something, what I've done is I've stopped having goals. I've stopped having goals. So my goals, which were like working class and I didn't believe I could ever do, I've done before networking in my books, and I've done that. And people say, oh, you need to have bigger goals. Says fucking who? I've achieved more than fucking any working class. By rights, on my CV, I should be a bank robber. Like genuinely, I've come from a really fucking heavyweight background as a kid. And somewhere along the way, those skills that could have made me a bank robber have enabled me to do something really positive and benign. And I do my best to help other people who've had a difficult set of circumstances to be the best that they can be.
That is quite a story, isn't it?
Oh,
That is great.
you know, it's lovely. It's lovely because it's like the American dream, but in reverse, it's like the British dream. I am just a working class lad with no qualifications. I've been addicted to drugs twice. You got to work really hard to get addicted twice. Don't get me wrong, great fun, not a lifestyle choice, right? I've done 4 years on benefits. I got shot at when I was 21. Yeah, shot at. You know, so this is not your archetypal entrepreneurial journey. Oh, I've got an MBA, I've got 2-1 in whatever, right? You know, but I think what we can learn is look at the lessons from the past, look at our lessons from our past and what shit we've dealt with, and actually say, okay, you know, that's in the past, forget it. What can you use that skill in your future? And I think that's what I've done, because pretty much I'm a bit of a street kid. I'm a little bit warm, a little bit way, a little bit ability to think on my feet, to be able to make something happen out of nothing. And I've always had charisma. I didn't realize I had charisma. I said the same to you, actually. We've spoke offline. We have actually about this. And actually, I didn't realize how fucking wild I come across as. Like, this isn't like me hamming it up. This is how I am. And like, I didn't realize that I come across as a complete Fruit Loop and full of enthusiasm until a friend of mine says, oh, you do realize you come across as a nutcase, don't you? I went, what are you on about? He went, you honestly don't realize? I went, I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, wow.
You don't realize. So I was blissfully self-unaware, which was great, because if you were self-aware, you wouldn't be like this, right? So by being unaware back in the day, I'm aware of what I am now. I'm more comfortable with being me. But it was a time when I kind of withdrawn from who I was to appease other people. And that ends up becoming a problem as well. Sorry, I'm digressing. Go.
No, that's awesome. And I think anyone who follows me will know that I feel very strongly about being you and showing the real you to the world. And if you don't like me, then fuck off. And I think people either love it or hate it, but I think what people really love is the authenticity, and I think they can see it. People know if you're being authentic or if you're hiding behind a facade.
But you know, the thing is, this is it. By you being honest and the way that you are, you're going to piss people off. By people being disingenuous, those snakes are still in the grass, they've just not bit you. So actually, by being you, it kind of smokes people out. So I'd rather anyone who wants to do fucking, you know, not a problem, fucking great, let's have it out of the way. So I've surrounded myself with people who dig my vision, who dig what I'm about. And those people that don't like my vision and what I'm about, not a problem. There's a big wide world out there. I'm happy. I'm going to sleep at night. So it's good.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. So just looking at some of the other questions you've got. So in terms of, so we know what you've done, what you've achieved. What do you do now for people? So if somebody wanted to come to you and buy something from you, what do you actually offer the world right now?
So I wrote that book on Now What back in 2016, my latest one. And the reason I wrote Now What is because I'd achieved every single one of my goals. And I was sat at home. I did 3 months. I retired at year 10 of Full Networking. There's a video out there. I retired. I said, listen, that's me done. Management team in, boss done. And what people may or may not know is year 9, I actually I stepped away from Full Networking, but nobody knew this. I didn't make an announcement, didn't flounce. I just stepped away from Full Networking. Management team were in. They handled every single decision from year 9 onwards. And then year 10, just 2 weeks before the 10th birthday, my chairman said to me, Brad, come over, sit down. Went to see him, dead formal, folded up, and he said, listen, the news is devastating. I said, go on. He said, we're 21% up without me. And I realised at which point, you know what? Fucking I'm done. So my skill was launching it. Wrote that book Now What because I spent 3 weeks playing computer games, my PlayStation, going to the gym. And then afterwards I went, shit, now what? Right? Because normally in our lives it's about, we need a bigger house, we need a bigger car. I've got the car that I wanted. I've got the house that I wanted. So now what? And this is where people get, a difficult word for me to pronounce, but I'll say discombobulated. Because they you know, you're married with kids and then you go, now what? This is shit. And it's like, no. So what Crosby, one of my mentors, said to me, you need to make the place that where you are, where you want to be. So what do I do now is I run Now What Club, which is my private members club, and I mentor people. I mentor people in 10 minutes, like blast. I'm not Mr. Sit down there all day with one person for 4 hours. I'm not that guy. I'm 10 minutes. I say, listen, fucking, from my experience, I would do this, and this on your way. Now you either do it or you don't. That's it. So I run my private members club, Now What Live, which is my all-day event. Next one, 27th of September over in Birmingham. And I bring 4 speakers in to support me with this whole message about now what. They're pinnacle now what moments, because now what, as a question, think about that, now what? The only time we ever ask that question is when the shit's hitting the fan. So you've just lost your job, you've just got pregnant, you've just lost a big client, you just, boom. These questions, the only time, and people under stress don't make great decisions. So the idea is this, that you make a decision when you're not stressed. And that's why I teach people to make better decisions faster. Because if I look at me at 45 now, I know I look younger, right? 45 now, all right? And actually when I was 31, all I did at 30, 31 was make shit decision after shit decision after shit decision. And I ended up in a place that I didn't want to be. So I now urge people, drinking water, well done, mate, good. I now urge people, right? And I urge people to be the best that they can be. And the way that they can be the best that they can be is by making better decisions faster. Because fundamentally, your success or failure in your life will be defined by your ability to make decisions. Want more success? Make better decisions. Boom. That's what I teach.
That's awesome. So I am a member of your Now What Club, obviously, and I can personally say that it is bloody awesome. You get daily tasks that really help kind of get your mind focused and get you taking action and doing certain things. So I definitely recommend you guys, you check that out. Or maybe see if we can drop it, if Pippa's watching, maybe she could drop a link in, maybe to your sales page or something. And I've had the mentoring off you as well, and that is a real blast. And again,
fucking listen. This is the thing. If you want to go over profit and loss sheets and start looking at navel gazing, fucking go to someone else. If, however, you want someone, there's no one in this UK, right? I'll say this now. There's no one in this UK that's had more 10-minute conversations in business owners than me in the last fucking 12 years. No one. The nature of 4 networking means you have 3 10-minute one-to-ones in group time. Boom. I've had more 10-minute one-to-ones. So I've seen people from all walks of life, from all different financial backgrounds, the lot. And you sort of disseminate that with the journey that I've been on, and my ability to make decisions is like fucking rage. People cannot believe the speed that I move at. They go out, I've been at board meetings, and he's presenting something. I go, right, yeah, we'll do that. And they go, oh, what? We spent 3 months devising this. How can you make that decision? I said, because it's a bit like turning around and saying, fucking, you know the end of Titanic because you've watched it, or you know the end of that film because you watched it 10 times. And this is what I see. So my ability to make decisions and decisions fast is immense, and I help people support that.
That's awesome. Yes, and you are very, very good at what you do. So do you have maybe a good story you could share with us about a person or a business or something, or someone that you've really helped?
Yes. So one person in the club, they started their they got a what's the word, like a building company, and their day rate was 175 quid. And I said, listen, we can boost that up. And they, oh no, I can't, I've been like this for 10 years, and we'll lose clients. I went, shut up, you dickhead, listen to me. Right. I said, what are you going to do? The next clients, I said, how many leads you get through the door? They told me. I said, right, the next clients that come through the door, I want you to whack it up at 50 quid. So instead of it being 175, 250, 225. I can't, shut up, trust my judgment. They did it. Guess what? 225. I said, right, and again, 275. They're now at £450 a day. That's after 3 months worth of Now What clubbing. So they're now at £450 a day. They just got booked for 10 days and they are flat out. They can't believe it. So they've over doubled. In fact, I did the math, I never even thought of it. You just got them to fly. So effectively, 175, they're now at £450 a day based on what I said. Now, if they'd not been a member of Now What Club, 30 quid a month, out of 4 months, 120 quid, they made the money back. So look, that's not, there's lots of stuff here that this person fitted, right? It's not everyone's result. I get that, right? And I'm really honest about that. I'm not a miracle worker, but what I can do is, and I'm really good at this, is I'm not saying, hey, guess what? Join my club, you become a millionaire and have an agent. I ain't doing that. I'm saying, join my club and you will become a happier, more content, more driven individual, and you will grow in self-leadership. So that's probably a really nice thing. Yeah, there's loads, and I think that people have stopped smoking, people have stopped drinking as a result of it, just because it's about making better decisions faster. And I tell you something, so when I look at me being addicted to drugs twice, right, and you don't realize you're addicted, right? You don't go, oh, guess what, I'm addicted to drugs. You're just having fun, and you're having fun every day, and then you keep having fun, and then you keep having fun, and then a few months later you're fucking skinned and you're not having any fun anymore. Then you're addicted. And actually what we do in life is that we end up having this whole situation where we confuse fun with happy. So we do shit that's fun, whether it's drinking, philandering, whatever fucking shit we do that's fun, right? And we confuse it with happy. And then the next day, so I'll give you an example. back in 2004, I was into my drugs, and I remember I lived in a masonette. It was on my Instagram. Look at it. We lived in a masonette, and in one of the rooms was all right. The rest of the rooms were shitholes. And I remember going to IKEA, and there's a lamp there. I picked the lamp up. I went, oh, that's nice. Turned the tab over, 65 quid. I went, I'm not paying 65 quid for a lamp. That evening, I spent 80 quid on drugs. And there's a really good example in that, I was living everything in the short term. So I'm pissed off now. I know I'll have some drugs. So I wake up the next day. Guess what? I'm still living in a shithole, and I'm now 80 quid lighter. So what happened is when my life started turning around, is when I stopped living in the short term and started focusing on the medium to long term. And that's what we need to do in the short term. You know, oh, you eat too many cakes, right? Well, stop eating fucking cakes. Yeah, but I like cakes. Well, okay, but you're unhappy being fucking where you are. Yeah, but I like cakes. Fine, stay there. So stop eating cakes, have a little bit of short-term fucking pain, start going to the gym, and then before you know it, medium, you're happy with yourself. And that's when, so people need to move themselves from the short term to the medium to long term. You know, shit's going on in your life, you've got dealing with bereavements or relationship problems, fine. Go and have a crutch, go and have your cakes, go and have your drugs, go and have your smoke, go and have your beer, fine. But when that becomes a lifestyle choice and you start getting into the medium long term, that's when it starts causing you problems. And the only way that you can build as an individual is when you start taking control of this, when you start taking control of you. I swear to you, if you knew me back in 2003 or 4, whatever it was, you would find me unrecognisable on every level. Like, on every level. You wouldn't see, none of you would get your head around. This isn't the Brad that you're seeing. So the only thing that's changed is the way that I think and the way that I act about the world.
That's awesome. That's a really good story. So what advice would you, if you could go back to then? I remember reading that story about the lamp somewhere. I can't remember where.
I must have told you because it's not documented anywhere. It's not documented.
Oh, maybe you have told me then. I thought I've read it. But
yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that story.
It might be in the club, yeah.
Yeah, possibly. So if you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice, say back then or back when you first started your business, what would it be?
Yep. Which is be you, and it's that simple. Like, I mean, fundamentally, that's it. Because what we end up trying to do is trying to be something we're not, to conform to those peers around us. So we're going to start changing who we are to listen to those peers. And before you know it, that secret weapon that you and your sweariness and your fucking Tourette's and your ability to go fuck you fellas and your F-bomb and C-bombs, it's like, what the fuck, right? That ability that makes you special, that superpower, is basically diluted because everyone tells you that you can't do that as a lady. You shouldn't behave like that. Oh, you shouldn't have tattoos on show. Oh no, you mustn't. So consequently, now you end up changing who you are for people around you, and this is why the world is fucked up at the moment, because you've got this whole fucking world where you can't say anything because it's all fucked up. People jumping it, and this is indicative of individuals as well. Oh, you don't want to wear your hair down like that. Not in business. You need to wear it nice and tight. Oh, fuck off. If I want to wear it down like this, for me, fucking. So that's what I say. My advice is be you. So actually, Brad, if you want to be 45, tattoos, look like a drug dealer, right? Then fucking guess what? That's okay. Because anyone who said, well, you're not going to get taken seriously, well, in September, I've got 5 big fuck off gigs at big corporates. So those people that gave me the advice, oh, you can't do it that way, where the fuck are they in the lineup? They don't exist. So do it your way. Do it your way. And if it doesn't work, change it till it does. Oh, I'm fucking fired.
I love how you're giving a big sort of fuck you to everyone who's ever tried to tell you to do it differently and to not be yourself. Again, I love that. I absolutely adore the whole
Rachel,
just be you, no matter who it pisses off.
Rachel, honestly, kid, if I swear to you, I would never have started for networking off if you had listened to everyone who told me I got it wrong. I would never have written a book. I would never have become a motivational speaker. Like, genuinely. Right? And this is the thing, is that those people that gave me the advice, they're nowhere to be fucking seen. And we end up listening to these people. If it were me, Rachel, I wouldn't wear your hair like that. I wouldn't have your tattoos and show. Well, guess what? It ain't fucking you, because if it was, you'd be interviewing Brad, and you can do what the fuck you want. So this is the thing. This is the thing. Stop getting blown about by society. Stop getting blown about by individuals. You know, when you've got your fella there, Dan, give us a big wave, Dan. Don't be hiding out a shot star. Right? You know, no, but listen, if Dan says something to you, right, as your partner, then listen. If some bellend that you just met on Instagram or fucking Facebook starts saying you need to cover up your tattoos, or, you know, then fuck you, knobhead. Go and find someone else who covers the tattoos up. Serious.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one big time. So we have one final question then, and then I'm going to open it up to questions from the viewers. If anybody has any questions for Brad, now is the time to ask them. But what are your 3 best tips to any business owner or any person who's sort of thinking now, what in the sense of, you know, in that bad place? What would be your 3 best tips to someone?
Okay, I'm just writing down now from memory. So your business plan for the bank may as well have a foreword by J.K. Rowling. It is a work of fucking fiction, right? It's going to take you 4 times fucking longer than any bullshit you've got in your business plan. They ain't worth a carrot. Throw it in the bin. My business plan, I've got an 89-page business plan. Have I bollocks? You know what my business plan was? My business plan, to be better in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, you're breaking up. We've lost you a little bit.
Okay. Second, kid. Can you hear me?
You're back now. I lost you a little bit. Yes, I've got you. I lost you a little bit. Can you hear me?
So I'm going to count to 10. So tell me if you can hear everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can hear you.
Yep. I can hear you.
Yes.
I can definitely hear you.
Okay. So can you? Everything good? Can I speak?
Yes. So we heard. What was your business plan?
Okay, my business plan is to be better in the next 2 weeks than the previous 2 weeks. That is it. But somewhere along the way, somewhere along the way, you know, business link, you need an advisor, and what you need to do is work out your first profit and loss and gross margins. Fuck off. I've got no idea. If you said to me, what's your gross profit? I have no idea. Like, genuinely. If you said to me, Brad, your life depends on it, you need to tell me your percentage, what your gross profit is. I have 0 idea. Now, you'd have people saying, oh, well, that's outrageous. How do you know your numbers? Because I've got a fucking team that do. I've got a team that sit there poring over what gross profit is, and I trust them implicitly. So that's my tip. There's a long way to go from the minute you think you can't go on. I've wanted to quit 11 times. Right? 11 times I've wanted to quit. And that's not like me being hilarious or motivational. 11 times I've got as close as any individual who's tuned into this has wanted to quit. Like, without question. Like, 11 times. And the only reason I didn't quit, well, there's several reasons, but let me tell you probably a primary reason. When I got these tattoos 6 years ago, I did it to burn the bridges because I was ready to quit. And I'm going to get daft forearm tattoos so that I couldn't quit. And also, I would have been the laughing stock. Every one of those haters who had a pop at me along the way, they would have been saying, I told you Brad Burton wasn't very clever. So actually, this is what I did. I did this shit so that I had nowhere to go. True story, right? So this is what you've got to do. If you believe in your vision, as in 100% believe in your vision, great. If you don't 100% believe, like as in 100%, not like 99.9, 100% believe in your vision, quit now. Seriously, go and get a proper fucking job. Because the only time that you connect is a bit like having a fucking 100-meter electricity cable. You know, if it's 2 centimeters away from the plug and it's not plugged in, ain't right. And that's what I'm talking about. So this 100% unwavering self-belief, misguided self-belief, because that's what I started the business off. £25,000 in debt. My wife telling me to go and get a proper job. At least you know where you stand. You know exactly where you stand when you run your own business. Fucking skin. Get used to it.
So right? True.
But listen, I've yet to come across a self-employed person that has starved to death. So what's the risk? The risk is, if it doesn't work out, you can fuck off and go and get a proper job, which is exactly where you started in the first place. So it's going to take you, there's a long way to go from the minute you think you can't go on. And actually, like I say, 11 times I've wanted to quit, like over the first 9 years. And, you know, and actually, like, once you realize that there is a long way to go and you've got more in your tank, once you realize that, but it comes down to belief, because in those first few years, you're making no money. Because in your mind's eye, you think 18 months, you'll have 5 series outside, you'll have glass offices and spinny chairs, and loads of stuff, and you need no reception. So and the reality is, but goes back down to what I said, it's going to take you 4 times longer. So once you get your head around that, and this is where it all goes wrong, this whole fucking culture of 10x in your business. Bullshit. Bullshit. Right? You have to be built like Grant Cardone or fucking Gary Vaynerchuk to 10x your business. Right? And unless you are built like Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone, don't try to use their rule book, because it won't work for you. You'll come unstuck. So this is what we need to do. And it goes back down to what I said, which is about you. Finding, this is tip 3. Find your level. Find your level. Because we're so obsessed with Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, fucking Richard Branson, fucking Alan Sugar, geniuses, Elon Musk, the fucking lot of them, geniuses, absolute geniuses. But for the vast majority of the people tuned into this, you're not Elon Musk, you're not Alan Sugar. I'm sorry to break it to you, you're never going to own a fucking spaceship, right? And the vast majority who's on here are never going to own a Learjet. So whilst you're yearning at them, oh God, I'd love to have a Learjet, all you're doing is pissing yourself off and putting yourself back. Get real. Get real about what you want in your life. What you want in your life. Your life. I have everything that I want in my life. Right? I don't have a yacht. I don't have a Learjet. Right? I don't have a Lamborghini. Right? Cat in shot, brilliant. Right? But you know what I do have? Peace of mind, content, and I'm happier than any motherfucker that I know. Truly happy. Not just saying it, but genuinely fucking happy. Why? Because I'm comfortable in my own skin about what I stand for, about what I've achieved, about the difference that I make. So understand this, you need to find your level. That's the tip. Because if I think about me, you know, if you think about Alan Sugar, there, on a scale of 1 to 10, he's 10, and Elon Musk and Richard Branson. And on that scale, I'm a 1 or a 2. Oh, I'd love to go on there, I'd love to shut up. But if I compare me, Brad Burton, the drug addict, Brad Burton, the guy living in the council masonette above the chippy, if I compare me now, I'm a 10. So what you've got to do is run your own race. But what we end up doing is looking what everyone else is doing. Oh, look what they're doing. I couldn't give a fuck what my competitors are doing. Let them crack on. And there's a reason that racehorses have blinkers, because they don't give a fuck about the other people. They run their race, and that's what I do. Find your level, run your race. Oh, fucking go on, Brad. I'm on fire.
That's great advice. Find your level is not something that is typical advice either. That's definitely not something I hear. You know, you get a lot of kind of motivational or speakers or business coaches and stuff. You get a lot of kind of repeated stuff and advice, but I think finding your level, that's something very original, very new.
So here's the thing. What ends up happening is the goal is greater than the belief. So all these goals, people getting fucking corkboards and putting fucking £500,000 cars on there, you're living in cloud cuckoo land. You're living in fucking cloud cuckoo land. So you end up with this goal that is outside of your belief. So I've got my goals, I fucking surpassed them. My belief's greater than my goals. Like genuinely, I could go and buy a Lamborghini. Fucking not a problem. For what? So that neighbours can go, fuck me, Brad's got a Lamborghini. Because that's what it was about in the old days. That's like old fucking thinking. Look at me, everyone, washing my car. God, that's got some poke in it. Well, you're right. Fuck it. We end up doing this shit for Instagram. We end up doing fucking getting a £40,000 fucking watch and taking photographs for Instagram. Fucking 70 pence. Right? I sell them for a £5. Right? But you see what I'm saying? We end up doing this shit because fucking Instagram shows us that there's a 26-year-old. Hey, I earn over £7 million fucking pounds through my ClickFunnels bullshit. Fuck off with your fucking nonsense. It's bollocks. You know, laptop lifestyle. I've got a laptop lifestyle. If I want to go and have a laptop lifestyle and sit on my ass in a beach all day long with a laptop and make money, guess what? I can do that. And you know what? I don't. Why? Because as humans, we need to have a purpose. It isn't all about money, but we believe when you've not got it, as I was, that money will fix everything. Well, I had money 6 years ago. I also had 3 stone overweight, a fucking marriage on its knees. I had fucking type 2 diabetes. Mentally, I've unravelled. I see my kids at weekend, but I've got fucking loads in the bank. Great. It's all fucked up. The world that we live in is fucked up, man. Is that actually? It's all twisted. And I'm telling you, right? You don't need a Lamborghini to find you, to find your happiness. Get internally happy. Get internally happy with what you are, who you are. The fact that I've got a face like a potato, sorry about that. Nothing I can do about it. Oh, but I wish I looked like Brad Pitt. I wish I had hair. Well, you don't have hair. You don't look like Brad Pitt. Fucking get on with it. And this is what we've got to do. You've got to be happy with what you are. What you are. I would love to have bigger biceps, but I don't. So you know what I do? I put a photograph like this and I put them together, right? Because I can't be asked working in the gym like I should do in order to do it. So you've got to be honest with yourself about who you are and what you are.
Just love how just real and raw you are. It's so rare and it's very, very refreshing. So audience, do we have any questions for Brad? And Brad, do you have any other final comments or anything else you want to Finish
You
with.
know, I'm speaking on September the 27th. Now what live in Birmingham, Aston Villa. Over 100 people booked, 4 amazing speakers, including myself, James Boardman. He's a Royal Marine Commando sniper trainer. Dilys Boardman. Dilys Price. Dilys Price is a Pride of Britain. She's 86-year-old. She's a Guinness Book of World Record holder, the oldest parachutist in the world. Amazing. And we've also got Joseph Vellante. Joseph Vellante, who won The Apprentice. So it's a great lineup. 27th. If anyone's interested, now what.biz. Listen, I just want to say to people, look, be you. Like, honestly, and we can't all be Alan Sugar, we can't all be Richard Branson, but I'm living proof that we can be a better version of ourselves, because my ingredients are exactly the same as they was when I was 31 and when I was 27 and when I was 21. The only thing that's changed is my recipe. And we can change your recipe because every single decision that you've ever made in your life has brought you to this video today. Quiz Your Biz. Why do you think that is? Because I'm talking to you. This entire session has been aimed at you. And it's now down to you to ask that question to yourself and let these words ring through your fucking head. Now what? Because you've got an opportunity. Because it's never too late to change direction. I'm living proof of that. I'm 45 now. At 31, I was a fucking bum. Reality, truth, bum. And somewhere along the way, why did I leave it so long? Because I didn't believe it was possible. I didn't believe that someone like me could achieve anything. I didn't believe it was possible for me to be me. I believed that I had to conform and wear stupid fucking suits and ties and waistcoats and fucking pocket watches to fit in business. And I've proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that actually you can do it your way. Hence the reason I'm headlining a national advertising campaign in October.
Oh, that's awesome. Dan, did you have anything you wanted to add on that? No, that's brilliant. Okay. Thank you so much, Brad. That's been like, I feel really fired up again. Every time I speak to you, it's like an explosion.
You know, listen. I wish you well with this Quiz Your Biz, honestly. And anything I can do to support and help you with this, I will do. You, Rachel, are special. And I've said this to you offline, and that's not like fucking me blowing wind up your ass. In life, you meet 1 in 20s. 1 in 20s are those people that are special, that actually those people that are real. And I don't just mean saying real or I'm authentic. I'm on about fucking real. And what I want you to do as an individual is to turn up the volume on you. Don't turn it down, because I think I'm sure in life you've encountered that. Don't turn it down, turn it up. You know, take the space, take your space, own your space, be you, but turn the fucking volume up. Because my life turned around when I turned it up, when I started being me. And actually, if people didn't like me for being me, next.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Chicken.
Dan says we might have some no questions. Okay. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, people. So now what.biz, check it out.
Wicked. All right. Thanks so much, Brad. Have a good evening,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
See you later.
Bye. See you
Bye.
later. Bye. Quiz Your Biz.